Hello and welcome back to the profile line series within the human design chart. So I love the profile lines. They are by far one of my favorite aspects of the human design chart because it gives us information and permission to step into our role, our highest embodiment in this lifetime. You have a profile which represents what you're here to give and contribute. It's the way you learn. It's the way that you, in your highest, truest self expression, will create and manifest and magnetize what is here for you in this world. For the next week, I am going to be dropping one video for every single profile line. Now, definitely check out yesterday's episode for the one line. If you're wanting to learn more and more, this series is designed so you can become more knowledgeable in human design. So today we're going to be diving into the 2 profile line. Whether you have this at the first number or the second number, this applies for you. We have 2 sides of our personality. You have your first number of your profile within your human design chart, and then you have your second. So your profile is a combination of 2 lines, which then makes up your profile. So we have in total 12 profiles that are a combination of the 6 profile lines. So you might be a 5-1, a 1-3, a 2-4, a 6-2. We're going to be moving through all the different profile lines. Each profile has different gifts, different strengths. And when we can harness and we can leverage our natural gifts and abilities, this is where you start to create what you are here to naturally give to the world. This is what you're here to step into and embody. This is the archetype you get to play with. And what I love about this is that it gives you permission to be fully you. And when you are in your profile, you receive more success, more abundance, more connection, more wealth, more love, more contribution, more purpose, because you are in your true self energy. And we're not making things harder than they need to be, which is going to be the biggest mantra for the 2 line is let it be easy. Let it be easy. You're designed for that. So you will naturally step into your profile when you are living your strategy and authority. So also check out my energy type videos because that is the most important part of your human design. And once you know that, once you understand how to use your energy, this profile is the archetype in which you can embody. So what I love about archetypes is that we can lean into that. We can fully express ourselves in that. For example, if you think of the queen archetype of how would she sit? How would she speak? How would she talk? Or the king archetype. And that brings an energy. So think of that when we're moving through the profiles. So look to your human design chart. I will put the link below that you can receive your free chart on my website. My chart system will give you a lot more information than just your regular on the internet. So definitely generate, it's free. And then look to your profile. It's going to be a combination of 2 numbers. And just remember that it's going to create a whole nother meaning when you bring the 2 profile lines together. This is where human design gets very nuanced and very deep. So you also have a combination of all the profile lines. That's also what a lot of people don't realize is that in your chart, you have multiple placements of profile lines. Yes, you have your main one, which is the one that you will say on your chart on the profile side, but you have multiple different types. So if this relates, if this resonates, I'm sure you have it in other aspects of your chart. And you want to think about the first number is your conscious awareness. This is how you see yourself. The second number is in your subconscious. It is what other people see in you. And so both parts of you are very present and very important. It's not like one is more important than the other. But where you're consciously aware, you may be more consciously leveraging and living and embodying and activating that. Where you're in your subconscious is what people look to you. If you think about it in a neuroscience perspective, your subconscious is what is creating your actions and is generating your reality. So when you can be aware of your subconscious and again, be in the higher expression, because within the profiles, you're going to have a higher and a lower expression. So we want to be leveraging and stepping into the higher expression, which is your highest, truest self. And this is what's going to create what you desire in the world. Your energy matters and how you move through the world and the energy behind your action dictates what you receive and dictates its outcome. So when you can move in your highest self frequency, you will create and manifest what you desire. Whereas when you're in your lower self, it is just a beautiful awareness when you're in this not self behavior of your profile. So that might be imposter syndrome. That might be dimming your light. That might be hiding yourself. That might be overly perfectionist or people pleasing. It's great awareness to stop, pause. What an opportunity to shift this. What an opportunity to see and catch and notice these unconscious thoughts or behaviors that I'm on autopilot right now, but I can consciously choose to come back into my true self energy and then act from that place. I have an incredible practice called the power practice that if you want to transform your life and you want to shift tie lines, definitely listen to that one. I'll link it below. Just a reminder that it's so important to understand the people around you, what their human design is, what their profiles are, especially if you're working with them and especially if you're in relationship with them, because then we can understand what makes them different so we can work together rather than assume each other are the same and get frustrated when there is difference there. And so when we understand that, it creates more harmony. And it also, if it's in a work situation, it creates so much more productivity and ability to truly get the best of everyone in the space rather than try and force everyone to be something they are not. And then as well, it can create a lot of friction and a lot of disagreements and a lot of misunderstandings. And also, you can feel really unseen yourself. Today, we're going to be diving into the two line. This is one of my favorites. It's one that is widely misunderstood. When people find out they're a two line, it often makes a lot of sense for them because there's no longer shame about the hermiting process. And also, a lot of the time, because we have so much conditioning on what makes someone qualified, what makes someone worthy of sharing or speaking or teaching, or what makes someone qualified in order for their wisdom or their knowledge to be credible. And so it is so important that we have two lines stepping into their fullest expression because their authentic voice and energy and wisdom is what is needed in this world to move us forward. I can't even explain how much more we need two lines. Actually, Ra, the creator of human design, spoke about how two lines are going to really move us forward as a society. But it's very different to how we think that you need to be successful in this world. It's very different to how we see you learn or you become an expert in something. And so two lines have such a power for mastery, but they can really second guess themselves and almost make things harder than they need to be. A two line can make life so much harder than it needs to be when it really can be simple and easy for them. A two line is the natural, is the person who has a deep connection with universal energy. Now, the two line is here to be a channel for the unseen and the unspoken. The two line, when in dance and with understanding and with allowing life to move through them, they become what we need in the world. And it's going to be very dependent to where you feel called based on your strategy and authority, where your intuition is calling you forward, because that's what you're here to create and that's what you're here to explore and share. So two lines possess inherent knowledge within them. They are deeply wise. If you're a two line, you've often been told you're an old soul, and especially if you're a 6-2. And so when you are an old soul, you have wisdom, like you're an ancient soul. You have wisdom within you. And what happens when you had this incarnation as a human, you often forgot a lot of what you did know. And what happens in life is that you start to remember and you start to receive stimulus that provokes that remembering within you. So for example, I have lots of two lines in my advanced human design certification, and they'll say, it's like I've always known this. I just understand it. I just get it. It's just landing. It's so obvious to me now. And so what I say is come, learn, receive the transmission, but then let it alchemize within you and it awakens something within you. And you're here to share your divine interpretation, your unique interpretation, because that's what the world needs. The world does not need you to just regurgitate what you've heard elsewhere. A lot of the times it can be hard to trust yourself, especially when you're first starting out playing with this. But just know that all the information, all the knowledge, all the wisdom is already within you. It's just about, firstly, create space to connect with it. That's why people that are two lines love to hermit, and they don't even realize. They think it's because they don't want to be out in the world and it's too overwhelming. No, because when you're in your own energy, when you're in your own process, you're activating the energy. You're remembering your wisdom. You're remembering your knowing. You're getting all the realizations. So it's not like you hate everyone out here, maybe sometimes if it's overwhelming, but It's no, you need your introverted times. Two lines are massive introverts. If you're a 2-4, you're going to listen to, I would implore you to listen to the 4-line profile. But this is where you're almost like a very much 50-50 of introverted, extroverted. And the thing is, because your 4-line is your second number, people think that you are really extroverted because the second number is what people see more in you. When really you see yourself as a 2-line, which is the hermit, which wants to be by themselves. And so there is this funny dance where the 4 profile, which is all about people, it's like, yes, you like to be with your people and you like to connect and you do have that extroverted side to you. And it's like you care so much about people. But then your 2-line is get the hell away from me. I actually don't give a shit. Take all your problems, take them elsewhere. I'm on my own. Like it's very much like one or the other. And it's just understanding your process. There's nothing wrong. It doesn't mean that when you're in your 2-line wanting to hermit that you don't like your relationships or your people. No, you just need your alone time. 2 lines, you need your alone time. Not only is it for your own sanity and for your own health and for your own well-being, it is for your ability to then connect with your inner wisdom, because it only happens when we are still. It only happens when we are quiet. And so that's why it's so important as a 2-line, so much nothingness. Get out in nature, put your feet in the ground. I know a lot of people either like or don't like meditation. If meditation is not your thing yet, I would just suggest, go out and have walking meditations where you're just with nature by yourself, or listening to music or dance or guided, anything where you can be with yourself. Because if you're constantly stimulated, you're missing out or not connecting to your inner energy, into your wisdom, which is where all your clarity is, by the way. You have all your answers within you. But if we're numbing out with media or oh God, like it's just constant. If you're constantly being overwhelmed by stimulus, you're missing out on what you're actually here to give and where all your answers are. So the reason why the 2-line is known as the natural is because you have inherent gifts, inherent strengths. And a lot of the time, 2-lines don't see what they're inherently good at. A lot of them have blind spots, a lot of them as well, because we have such strong conditioning around not good enough or don't know enough, or how did you earn this? It's this idea that you have to earn in order to speak about something or to be good at something. No, the 2-line, you are a natural. And I see this in my certification where people just learning human design and then they're already starting to give readings in like class 2, because when it is for you, when you are connecting with it and you let yourself, that's the thing. It can be scary to let yourself try, let yourself experiment, let yourself be in that vulnerable position as a beginner. It's this funny thing where in this incarnation of you as a human now, you will become a beginner at something, but you can very quickly master something because you've done it in many a lifetimes. But you first have to let yourself be a beginner as this human form now, and then show yourself how quickly you can pick it up. And the thing about a 2-line is that they're very magnetic. So people are always watching a 2-line. People are like, what is this 2-line up to? And to you, you're in your hermit being like, forgetting people care. There was an example that Ra, the creator of human design, he said that it's like the 2-line people are on the second floor of the apartment building and people can see, people are looking in. Meanwhile, the 2-line is walking around naked. He's just walking around naked, is not worried or bothered or doesn't even realize that everyone's watching. Whereas everyone's got their eyes on a 2-line. And that's not scary. That doesn't mean that you have to be anything you're not, but it's just knowing that how magnetic you are and you can leverage that. People want to know what you know and what you're doing and what you think is great and what you're practicing with or what you have found helpful in your life. And you can make money from that. This is ikigai. This is your purpose, is do what you love, do what you're naturally good at, do what the world needs and do what you can get paid for. And so this is such a beautiful example of how a 2-line can leverage what you're naturally good at. And this is why I said a 2-line can make things harder than they need to be. If you can make money from what you're naturally good at, stop trying to do things that are hard because it's not what's for you and trying to make money from that. Leverage what you're naturally good at. Don't love your work, work your love. And that doesn't have to mean you take the love out of it, but let things be easy. Let the natural life force move through you and you receive from it because you're doing the thing that you were born to do. So if you have a blind spot, if you're sitting here thinking, I don't know what I'm good at, I don't know what people would want to pay me for, I don't know what comes natural, ask the people around you And notice when you get similar types of compliments, when you get similar reflections. For me, I remember growing up and for a lot of my life, people would just say to me, "You just make me feel better. I feel like I talk to you and my whole energy shifts, or you help me see a different take on things." And you always know what to say. It was always about my advice. It was always about like this empowering energy that I brought. And that was always natural. I didn't have to tell myself, Hillary, be empowering. It just was. It just was how I spoke. And that is my whole job now. I'm just giving you an example of how that can look for you. So what is the things that you always just naturally do? Do you have a natural design eye? Do you have this ability to make people feel really seen? And do people stop you on the street and tell you their life story? Are you at the fruit shop buying your fruit and all of a sudden they're telling you about their childhood and they're saying, I've never told anyone this? Or do you really understand systems and astrology and human design comes very natural to you? Follow that, trust that. That's what you're here to be a master in. The two lines are here to have a mastery. It is so important to recognize this value that you bring. Recognize that what comes natural, you can receive from that. Again, when we think that it has to be hard or money has to be hard or we have to earn it really in a tough way. And if you have that mentality, if you have that subconscious belief, life will be harder and you will make your work harder. When you see that, no, it's a natural energy exchange. I give what feels natural and I give what I love and I give what I could do with my eyes closed and I receive money for this. This is what you can create business or your work around. And same in relationship. Be with people that recognize you. Be with people that you feel equal towards because a lot of the time a two line can overgive, overgive, overgive and not receive. So recognize yourself. See your value. I remember I had a reading with a two line where she said that she used to feel really guilty that things felt easy for her. And she used to grow up where people would say, things just work out for you. Things are just easy for you. And she had a lot of shame around that. She wanted to make it sound like it was harder. And we need to have people like you to tell us like it can be easy because life can be, but we overcomplicate it. We have our own stories and our own narratives that overcomplicate everything. So when you see that you can be a change maker in this, remember that you chose this incarnation. You have the karma of the two line to embrace ease. So instead of being shameful of it, leverage it, lean into it. So follow your passions. Follow where you feel called, where your gut feels this opening, where you feel a curiosity or an intuition pulling you towards something. That is what you are here for. That is not random. That is not by coincidence. That is not naive. This whole idea that it's naive, throw that out. Throw that out. You are here to have a full, beautiful, big life. And that is going to come from trusting and following where you feel called, where you feel expanded, where you feel excited about, and what feels natural for you. So you're not going to be able to explain where you get your gifts from. You're not going to be able to explain why you can do this thing or why opportunities have come to you or opportunities in the future will come to you, especially when you live your human design. That's where release the need to explain it. You just know. You have knowledge within you. You have gifts within you. Just think that you've accumulated it in past lifetimes. And when you own that, people won't challenge that. People won't challenge that. People only challenge stuff when we are triggered by it or when we feel like we have something to hide. It's not like we're worried what people think. We're worried that they're going to find out something that we think is shameful. And so share. Sometimes they can be reluctant because they feel like, who am I to say this? Or where did I learn this? No, we need your take. If you are just regurgitating or feeling like you have to corroborate with other people, it's tarnishing your true, unique transmission. It's like kind of dirtying, distorting. It's not ever going to be as good as what naturally comes through you. Nothing is ever going to be as good as what naturally comes through you. We want your take. We want your transmission. We want your creations, your ideas, your service. That is your best contribution to the world. Now, a big part of the process of the two line is that you need your alone time. As I said, you need your hermit time. You love to be in your own process, in your own space. And it's going to be called for different seasons of your life. Some seasons you're going to need a lot of hermiting time. A lot. Maybe it's even a few months. Maybe you have this huge incubation season. And then sometimes you're going to feel called to share. The thing with a two line is that people are always going to be interested. People are always going to ask you. People are always going to want to draw you out. People are going to ask you something that you can give to them or they want your energy. Everyone wants a two line energy. And so there's going to be times where it'll draw you out to share because to be honest. If it didn't happen, you probably wouldn't leave your home. So use your strategy and authority for when you want to. And I think the most important thing for a two line is healthy communication. Just communicate with your people if you're just in your own process. Sometimes people don't understand and then they can take it personally, thinking that, you don't care or you're a bad friend or you're not putting effort in. When you let them know about, you can even say you're a two line in human design if you want to explain it in that way. Or you can just say, I just need a lot of my alone time and I'm in process. It's got nothing to do with you. I'm really excited to connect when the time comes. And just know I'm always here if you ever need me. But at the same time, I'm just feeling so called to go inward. And what you'll find when you're on this path, you will create those types of relationships. They're the relationships I have. And you also want to be that friend who totally accepts other people's process as well. We always want to give what we want to receive. So trust your process. Trust when you want to go inward. Trust when you need your incubation. Trust when you need your naps. Trust when you need your alone time. And notice when you get triggered, when people want to disturb that, they have a different process. Sometimes they'll come knocking on your door and not realize. So it's important for you to set what you need and communicate what you need so people know. And if you are in relationship with a two line, if you're listening to this and you're like, my partner's a two line, my child's a two line, my friend's a two line, just know that they do need their space and it's nothing personal. And I also implore you to celebrate and show them what they're naturally good at, especially if they're your child. Human design was said to be for the children so that there was less conditioning. And we go through the schooling system being basically rewarded or loved for or celebrated only from tests and school achievements and how well you did in a certain exam and all these things where it's just no factoring in of the individuality or uniqueness of a child. So if you can truly see a child for who they are and their natural energy and what they're naturally good at and what they naturally connect to, how healing and how incredible for that child to receive. And then they can continue to give their energy to what they're here to give their energy towards. How incredible to receive that type of parenting. So the lower expression of the two line is constantly chasing accreditations, constantly feeling like they don't know enough, forcing themselves to always be on, forcing themselves to be everything for everyone else, or hiding all the things that they do know. I actually recently had this reflection back from me, someone that had learned human design with me, feeling like they have to hoard all this information, like they can't tell anyone. That's the not self of the two line. And it doesn't mean you have to scream it from the rooftops or overgive in any way, but it's just knowing that your energy is needed here and you can also receive from that. And yes, have your process. Yes, there's going to be periods of your life where you want to go more inward, but definitely share outward and share your unique transmission. Don't just regurgitate or feel like you have to have corroboration from everyone else around you. We want your unique take. We want your unique perspective. So the not self of the two line is like always being constantly stimulated and not seeing their own value, talking themselves down, perfectionism, feeling like they're never enough, always just reading from ChatGPT or never just trusting what they think, what wants to naturally come through you, because that's what people are looking for. They're so magnetic. A two line that is in their highest expression, which is following their natural gifts, where their energy is wanting to take them, what feels most expansive for them, what they feel like a natural at, what, as I said, what they could do with their eyes closed. When we see a two line like that, even if it's imperfect, even if it might be a little bit scattered, or maybe even if it's like unpolished, that is more attractive and magnetic and will gain you more people and clients and opportunities than this perfected, not self version. So trust what feels natural. Trust what you feel lit up and excited and good when you're doing. Your truest expression, as I said, even if it's imperfect, which we all are, that is what the world wants from you. Two line, you're an ancient old soul. Trust what you know. Follow the breadcrumbs as they present that will awaken more of your knowledge and your wisdom and your expertise, your mastery that you are here to give. You are a natural. You are here to be a master in whatever you feel called towards, whatever you feel natural in. And see that you have a strong ability to manifest, but you have to get out of your own way and you have to let your life force direct you where to go. So that's the two line profile. If you would like to explore more, definitely jump inside the certification. We go so much deeper than this. This is just touching the surface and you will understand all aspects of the human design chart. It's the most comprehensive training that you can find. And where you will also be supported in integrating and embodying all the teachings that you receive. Thank you so much for listening to this video of the Profile 2 line. Definitely check out our energy type videos because that's definitely the most important part of your human design. And also check out the remaining profiles. So you're going to be a 2 line, but you're also going to be another profile because we have 2 parts of our personality. That's why sometimes we can contradict ourselves. So check out your other profile. Thank you so much for listening. It's an honor to share with you today. Bye for now.